Good afternoon. Some of you already um, saw me earlier, but I'm going to reintroduce myself. My name is Keith Ranaldi. I'm from the United States, particularly New England, and even more particularly Rhode Island. Um, Small state. We're very proud. So I'm representing the University of Rhode Island. We are a state flagship school, land grant and sea grant school. And we are lucky enough to partner with TU Braunschweig and the Media Lab. And thank you to the Project House for helping make this possible. And I also want to acknowledge Emerging Tech Labs. And I would like Anna to be able to say a little bit about some of the projects that they're working on before we get into our agenda for the day.
Okay, thank you, Keith. So I'm part of a new joint project here in Lower Saxony. It's called Digitale Lehre Hub Niedersachsen, and the Emerging Tech Lab is one part of it. And it aims to identify new technologies who are coming to the university in future, so with foresight, and we try to test them and discuss them and identify scenarios for future technologies so that the universities are well prepared for new development of technologies and can engage proactive with them when they arrive. So thank you, Keith.
Excellent. Thank you, Anna. Thank you. Thank you. Excuse me. We're going to do one quick tech check because what we wanted to do today as part of Future Spaces is we want to transport ourselves over to Rhode Island, where I have my colleague, Bryan Smith, who's our coordinator of what we call our launch lab. And Bryan is going to give us a tour of our multiple labs that we have in our university library. So it's an interesting setup. We'll talk more about that, but I want to just do a tech check. Bryan, can you hear me? There might be an issue. Um, Sorry, we're just making sure we have a good connection with the US right now. I think we'll have Bryan. So he can't hear.
Hello.
Oh, we can hear you.
Check, check. Can you hear me? Excellent. Excellent. All right. Thank you, Keith. Sorry about that. Flying a little blind this morning, no sound on my end, but it's really great to be here with you all this morning. My name is Bryan Smith. I'm the coordinator here in the URI Launch Lab here this morning at the University of Rhode Island, coming to you live. Really excited to be joining you virtually today, not just to talk about our future-facing spaces, but to actually show you them and move through them live. Here at URI, our library innovation labs include several core spaces that support creative learning, content production, and emerging technologies. So I'm going to take a quick walk through them. I have us on a little podium here, and we're going to take a little quick walk through together. And as I go from room to room, if Keith wants to jump in and talk about some of our spaces, I'm going to share the screen in a minute. But we'll start here where I am right now. This is the Launch Lab. This is our central innovation and entrepreneurship hub. So this is where students come to get support on creative or business ideas, building prototypes, pitch decks, launching campaigns, social ventures. We work with students from every major. And this lab is really designed to be flexible and accessible. It's home to our student staff team and our innovation coach. And in here, we offer peer consulting, workshops, and programming throughout the semester. We've supported really anything in student projects from wearable health devices to food startups. This lab is really where the ideas take off. So I'm going to just show you all a little bit of our lab here. So as I said, this is sort of the entrepreneurship hub where students come if they're interested in starting a business. We've got workstations for all our different students and things that they work on here.
Just to let people know,
All right.
Bryan can't hear our audio right now. So
So
he's
I'm going to take us next to the XR lab in the Media Equipment Hub. In the meantime, I'm going to share my screen to our slideshow if Keith wants to jump in and talk a little bit more about the Launch Lab and what we do here.
all right. So thank you all for bearing with us while Bryan can't hear anything. So we're just communicating over text. But what you just saw again was one of our 6 lab spaces, and we exist within the university library. And the idea of existing in the university library is that libraries of the future need to rethink their space and their service, because with the digitization of books, it's leaving more room. And also, literacy, and the idea of literacy is more than the reading and writing. It is the understanding how to communicate with the technology and equipment that we have. And the library is supposed to be a place for a low barrier of entry and many resources. So we have resources like mentors. We have resources like equipment that people ordinarily couldn't get their hands on to start making their ideas a reality. We also have materials, and you'll see some of those examples when Bryan gets to his next location, which I believe he is at. You ready?
All right. So we've made it now. This is our second lab space. I'm going to just stop sharing my screen here for a moment so you can see. There we are. Excellent. So this here is our XR lab, short for extended reality. This is where students experiment with virtual and augmented reality platforms. They can kind of take part in immersive storytelling through our VR systems and interactive design. We've run some projects in here with computer science, international teams, and even film media students, as you'll be able to see when I show you the room a little bit more. But what's also exciting about this space is it's home to our media equipment hub. So it's a resource where students can borrow cameras, tripods, lighting kits, audio gear. We also use this area for professional headshots, product photography, and other visual content creation. So this is sort of a hands-on, student-driven environment supporting both high-tech exploration and real-world media production. So here, I'll show you around here a little bit. So here we have our XR VR goggle stations with these TVs. And as I pan a little over this way, you can see our photography setup. And then over in the corner there, that's where we keep the media equipment that we use to rent out. We've got collaborative spaces here for the students to work on their projects. And then over here, Keith can talk about this, but this is actually a machine that is going to be in our makerspace, which I will take you to in just a few minutes. So the next stop on our tour is going to be the Audio Media Lab. So it's actually right around the corner, and it sort of coexists with the XR Lab. So I'm just going to take you over there right now.
And while he's walking, so we call that the XR labs. While there's virtual reality equipment, we also listened to our students, and they wanted more of studio space. They wanted lighting, they wanted backdrops. So what we did was we bought equipment and we listened to them and we invested in their interests. And so that room became multimodal. It became, we move it around for whatever
All right,
they
welcome to the Audio Media Lab. This is a space designed for storytelling, content creation. This is where students can produce podcasts, do voiceover, sound design, work on their content. We have community members that host podcasts in here. We have student athletes who host podcasts in here, all about building students' brands and helping them create what they want to do. So maybe it's part of their project, maybe it's part of a product that they're working on. We have professional microphones, mixers, editing stations. Really, this lab is to help students gain a hands-on level of technical skills while also being able to share their stories, whether it's for class, it's just a passion project, or as I said, an entrepreneurial venture. So I'm going to show you just some of the microphones and equipment that we have here.
And now, this is some entry-level equipment. However, it's easy to use. It's at
Blackout
low.
curtains as well, because it can get quite bright and sunny in here. So we want to make sure that the students, when they're recording their stuff, have ample lighting. And of course, they can move some of the lighting that we have in the XR lab as well. The next stop I'm going to take you to is the makerspace. I'm going to put the slideshow back up if Keith wants to talk a little bit more about the makerspace specifically before we go in there.
Great. I'll introduce the makerspace in a moment. Again, it's some easy to use equipment that students started making podcasts, but the interest grew and more departments wanted access. So we started buying mobile microphones and distributing mobile microphones, and I can catalog those because we're a library and you can check them out like a library book. But now you can check out cool equipment to get your podcast off the ground or get your YouTube station off the ground. And we're finding that to generate interest for other products and services, low-level YouTubes, podcasts, wonderful start. That's where they're starting to get their customer discovery underway as well. Produce content, get your word out.
All right. Screen here. All right. Now we have entered the makerspace. So this is our makerspace. This is URI's hands-on creation zone. It includes 3D printers, laser cutters, vinyl cutters, CNC tools, t-shirt creation. Students can use this lab to turn digital designs into physical objects, from architecture models and jewelry to business signage, robotics, prototypes of anything that they're looking to do. What makes this space really special is how much students drive the learning process. It's about, building, improving, iterating. It's a mindset that we're cultivating for future focused learners, thinkers, and doers. So I'm going to show you around a little bit in here. There's no students here yet because it's quite early on this side, but
And you're seeing a nice.
So again, students can come in here and prototype. You get a lot of fashion in here.
That is a dark room we built so we can burn our own screens for screen printing. So if you want a brand, it's been a very nice addition so students can make hundreds.
See some examples of the samples that come out of here.
We have
It's the end
resin
of the year,
printers.
so a lot of students have actually been picking up their work. But this place is primarily student run. Students manage a lot of the functions here. They're cross-trained on different machinery, and no matter who comes in, there's usually somebody here that can actually help do something from start to finish. If the student comes in, doesn't know how to do something, or needs a little help, or is even just an expert, but they need a set of plans. So that's sort of our makerspace. I'm going to take us back to the launch lab. But as I do, I would also like to mention two of our other spaces that we have, the Knit and Wear Lab and the Think Lab. So these are specialized creative and technical spaces within the broader innovation labs. The Knit and Wear Lab is in partnership with textiles, fashion merchandising, and design, as well as the College of Engineering. The machine is actually located in the library so that it can be this cross-disciplinary use. Provides students with access to an industry standard knitting machine and digital software to prototype wearable tech, fashion garments, sustainable textiles, craftsmanship with innovation, really. The Think Lab is also located in the library. It's more of an ideation space, design thinking for brainstorming, planning, collaborative thinking. We have big whiteboards on the walls, modular furniture, not a lot of technology distractions. It really encourages students to map out ideas and concepts before transitioning into the more production-heavy spaces like the makerspace or launch lab. I like to say here at URI, you can rent a study room for 3 hours, but you can use the Think Lab for 3 days. It's really that kind of larger scale project that you want to, work out before you get it to the next level. So together, all these labs really support the conceptual and tactile stages of innovation. I did also want to mention as well, on my way back to the lunch lab here, the virtual space that we've been developing with TU Braunschweig. So I'm sure Keith has talked about it in his presentations over there, but Cyber Lab is what we're sort of working on as a digital workspace for cross-university collaboration, sort of born out of our shared experience during the Cyber Festival. And it's grown to be a flexible platform that we want global students to be able to co-create. Using these tools, we can prototype new ideas, exchange cultural perspectives, and work on things from storytelling, tech design. I think it's just a really powerful way to break down the barriers of geography and help bring students into international collaboration. So with that, I think that pretty much wraps up our little live tour. Launch Lab, XR Lab, Audio Media Lab, Makerspace, Global Cyber Lab. Across all of these spaces, our mission is really simple. We want to empower students to think big, experiment, and really engage with future technologies. So whether that's digital, physical, or somewhere in between. So that concludes my portion here. I'm happy to answer any questions. I know Keith is going to be putting some in the chat. Look forward to hearing what you all have to say.
I'm also calling him. For those of you who walked in late, we had audio problems, so he can't hear us. So he's been flying blind, but I think he did a really, really great job. Hey, buddy, I'm just, you're on speaker, but I'll, if any questions, I'll just kind of reiterate them to you. And I'm just, yeah, and you did a great job. And I can't believe you did that flying blind. And oh, nice room, great audience today. I wanted just to reiterate a couple points Bryan was making. One in particular about our makerspace and our launch lab. We have approximately 13, 14 student employees, and it doesn't sound like that much. However, every student is a trained trainer. Is a trained trainer, meaning I train you to train him so he can train her, and so on and so forth. And every one of our student employees not only learns each piece of equipment, but they learn different skills to implement from a peer-to-peer basis. So that not only are they learning, but they're teaching at the same time. They're developing new transferable skills, and they're helping their peers. It's pretty fun. And from that, they develop their own projects, their own businesses, and they start drawing in support organically. So it's something that they can use from course credit, independent study, extracurricular, but we're developing a place for them that's safe and has a lot of tools and has a lot of different people that can invest in their ideas. So I do want to open it up if there's anything that Bryan was talking about that you'd like to hear a little bit more about. Bryan also is finishing up a master's program in media studies. Bryan is brilliant with his work in media studies as well. But I want to open it up and see if anybody had a comment or something they wanted to clarify. You can hear okay, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, awesome job again. Just like I know it's kind of tough tech stuff, but um, you did. Yeah, it was awesome. No, sorry, I miss him. We work very close together, and I haven't seen him in 2 weeks, which is probably the longest I haven't seen him. Right? Yeah, yeah. Um, I can even give you the phone. Say, hey, Brian.
Abilities you have in those different labs, like digital overview over the labs or get your stuff to the news.
That's a great question.
Brian, do you want to go on Zoom to answer? Oh, okay, I'll pause you. We're making it work, right?
Yeah. So, let me just put the speaker. Yeah. So, that's a great question. One of the things that we, tend to, uh, I wouldn't say struggle with, but it's really, I always tell Keith, it's that first level of knowledge. So it's about knowing that these spaces is here and communicating that. Um, I think over the past 3 years that we've really been working on this as a concept, we've seen our numbers grow massively, and I think it's just from word of mouth spreading. But to that end, we have done quite a bit of marketing digitally with social media. We also worked together grassroots with a lot of clubs and organizations to sort of get the word out about what you can actually do in these spaces. In one of our future plans, we redid our website a couple of years ago, but part of our ongoing future summer plans is actually putting together, as you say, sort of a digital resource uh, online where students can actually look and see all of the equipment. What's the basic level of what's needed, the tools, the materials, et cetera, and to make it really attainable for the greatest number of students.
Yeah, well said. And there is a saying that our mentor, check, that our mentors maybe mute. Thank you. That our mentor says over in Rhode Island, and he says that URI is the best kept secret in Rhode Island, and URI is the best kept secret at URI. And and I say that in a full transparency and disclosure because there are so many departments, there are so many colleges, and everybody is so in depth with what they're doing. That is a challenge to bring multiple departments together in an interdisciplinary realm, which is one of our charge at the university. It's to break down those silos, and so you can see it as a good thing or a good challenge. But so when Brian's talking about different ways of promoting, we're trying to showcase what is possible for our students and allow that to be the primary driver of interest and then getting that foot in the door. Brian, I have a question coming at you.
Yeah, I'd also just want to add on that too. We're very lucky that, as Keith knows, we're located in the library, which is the most traffic place on campus. It doesn't matter what department you're from. Everybody uses the library, professors, students, everyone walks through here at some point in their 4 years. So we are lucky that the launch lab especially is right next to the entrance. So people have no choice but to see us on their way in and on their way out. So we're trying to leverage where we are as well in making people more aware of what the resources are that we have.
Yeah, yeah, it's big building.
So hi, I'm Torben. I hope you can hear me. Yes, you can hear me. Great. So the mic.
Oh, sure. Sorry about that. Double trouble.
Okay, let's see. So I'm Tom. My question is, are projects integrated in your curriculum? So, for example, once I was on the Tallinn University in Estonia. They're also quite digital innovative, and they have in their curriculum that the project that the students have to do a interdisciplinary project. So they have some kind of a market of ideas where people also from the city come and say, this is our problem. We need students to, or a team to solve this problem. And then they come together, students who are interested in this particular project, hopefully from different disciplines. So some IT person and some whatever, social science and so on. They try to kind of prototype and solve that particular problem. Are there any ideas, or is this somehow integrated in the curriculum of some of the, I'm missing the word. So is it integrated in the curriculum that you have to do project work in that labs? So that was my question.
Great question. Roy, you want to start on the Zoom?
Yeah, Keith, I think you can probably speak to that a little bit more than I can, especially with the course involvement this semester in the makerspace. I really think we don't have a built-in curriculum by ourselves, but I think we've seen certainly over the past few years, a lot of professors that know about our resources will send their students to do their projects in our spaces. And then we kind of find out about it then that, oh, they're actually, having them prototype whatever the problem is that they're solving for in that class. They're coming here to do it. And I know Keith has had a lot of involvement this semester with College of Education and sort of doing interdisciplinary projects within their using the makerspace.
Yeah. And Brian's actually underselling himself as well, because he works with many students on their ideas and their businesses as well, that some are attached to courses, some are personal projects. So full disclosure, we are relatively new, and we have been doing a lot of trial. So a year and a half ago, we did run a class that was focused on bringing your idea to life. We had to run it as an independent study under a different code, because at the time, the library would not support us unleashing a full course. So I'm giving you full transparency that I had some pushback from our library that they weren't going to support an actual course. That being said, we've worked with many professors to have their courses come into our spaces and integrate the spaces, the equipment, and materials, and mentorships to bring their projects to life, maybe for a course, but then take them out of that course. How do you continue with your idea? And how do you, it's about the continuum, because that one idea might transform, might need a lot of different other materials or connections. So we exist as a long-term relationship in our spaces, and we are continuously working on more connections to credit-bearing opportunities, because these students have enough that is asked of them without having to then, okay, take another 15 hours of your life and put that to an extracurricular when you already have to work and you have 18 credits and you have. So we're really working hard to integrate more of those project-based opportunities that you're talking about. And we have been trialing different models of that. And you brought up Estonia. I love Estonia. I believe that a group from Estonia started the European Innovation Academy. Do you know about that? Oh, it's incredible. It's everything that you're talking about, project-based learning and everything like that. I could give you other examples about how we combine efforts with courses and professors and student endeavors and some outside entities sometimes. I mean, I could talk a lot about the work we're trying to do with the College of Education as well. Let me just give you one example. This is a personal project, and we have a community entity called the Johnny Cake Youth Center. And so the Johnny Cake Youth Center, high school, middle school, or primarily like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old students in the local community. And they were just building a new youth center. And we had involvement with them. They saw our labs. They saw the makerspace. They said, ooh, we want that. So, okay. So they're building a new space, dedicating 70% to makerspace because the kids want to get their hands on. So we spent the last year, every week, the students came in, worked with our college-age students as mentors, learned the machines, learned what social entrepreneurship is, mission forward, revenue supporting, and they developed their own skills. Now they are trained trainers, and they figured out what equipment they wanted to buy for their space and the equipment that they're going to be interested in. So you're not just buying something. What do I do with this? Right? And so now we're in our next phase. We had a decommissioned laser cutter. We got to donate that. They already learned how to use it, so they're a huge step up. Now we have 14-year-old students operating a laser cutter. We're really excited. What could go wrong? So that's a little bit of a community involvement mixed with the College of Education, mixed with mentorship in the community, in our space, and trying to do what we truly believe a university is supposed to do, which is make our surrounding community a better place, right? We're supposed to be that incubator. We're supposed to uncover what the rest of the world needs. We're that prototypical society that is safe to experiment and then to scale. And that's what we're trying to do with our little labs. Okay. So we're coming closer to time. Are there any, yes. Let me do my little jingle. We're getting this down. No, he's just, it's on
This one's on. Okay, there we go. Hello, I have a question. You say you have the labs being primarily being student run, and you have about 13 to 14 students, and you call the students a trained trainer. How do you train those students? Do the other students train the future trained trainers, or how does it all work? And like, what sorts of material do you have, and how do the students then decide on which labs they work on? Do you just tell them, or how does it work?
right. You want to speak on behalf of Launch Lab employees?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. For me in the Launch Lab, it all started about I started in the Launch Lab. I've been with URI now for 12 years. Started in the Launch Lab just over 3 years ago. And one of the, in kind of being the first coordinator of the program, basically what I was trying to look for with student employees and trained trainers are, what are our needs? So I found we had a lot of students coming in looking for advice, sort of peer consulting advice. We had a lot of students coming in looking for help, marketing themselves, whether that was graphic design or that was, helping them, do a presentation, shoot a presentation or something like that. So basically, our first group of student employees, the trained trainers, were sort of, very, I would say, advanced or higher level sophomores at the time. And now we've had them for 3 years. And now they've sort of trained the next group behind them. And I know as well, I can't speak entirely the makerspace just because it's run differently, but I know Keith also worked with a lot of the initial group of folks from the makerspace in a previous role. So they kind of came in knowing how to actually do these things out of high school, as he mentioned, getting the kids in high school that are actually able to use the machinery kind of enables them to come in as freshmen with more knowledge, and then as they progress into seniors, kind of again training that next group. But I'll let Keith speak to that as well.
Thank you, Brian. I do appreciate that actually, because it is a big component of what we do. I was helping start a nonprofit when I re-entered Rhode Island in 2018. And so it was an education nonprofit. And we innovated 10 public and community libraries with maker spaces, equipment, materials, and a train the trainer program because it was a necessity. They couldn't pay 10 of me. There wasn't the money. It was a community effort, a mayoral initiative. We needed to find a fix to that problem. And the fix was elegant because the students learned the skill, made their own, I call them mini curriculums, and implemented it with both younger students, their peers, and adults. All of a sudden, you have a 14, 15, 16-year-old student teaching adults new skills. My favorite day was when someone said, Keith, the 3D printer is broken. Daniel comes running over. I know how to fix that. I go, my job here is done. A middle schooler took my job. It was a very nice moment for me. It was when a middle school child took my job. That was so. Fast forward, the important part to start these kinds of concepts early, middle school, I think is ideal. It works. My first student employee I met when he was first year high school. He just graduated. I've known him 8 years. I've worked with him for 8 years. He and his partner. And then there are actually another student, Dakota. He's over in Hamburg right now. I'm going to go see him next week. And I worked with him for now 7 years. And we're developing these relationships that are the core. You need your core people that resonate the message and become champions of what is going on here. So I just want to emphasize the fact that the outreach, the starting early, that is the key to making these kind of things in higher ed happening, and this kind of culture we're trying to build in higher ed happen. So Brian, thanks for noting that we've had students from high school right through their college career. It's a really important part of this work. Starting to lose my breath. I guess I'm sucking all the air out of the room. I'm trying to give some back. And Brian's done an incredible job with the student employees that he's been working with. They train other people and help other people on all sorts of high-tech projects, film editing, generative AI usage, graphic design, social media. You should see some of the work that they do, especially in the promotion videos. They're incredible. And Brian, it's this mastermind of helping every one of the employees in the way that they need. So big shout out to Brian. How are we doing? Do you think we've covered enough? Okay, one more last question. I'm going to do my very not awkward, give you 2 microphones.
Thank you very much. Hi, Brian. Thank you so much for taking us on a tour in the morning. I'm curious about podcasting and everything that is related with audio. What are the kids doing these days? Do you have an idea about what is really, of interest of them, or is it interdisciplinary? I'm just curious about that. Thanks.
Yeah, great question. The podcasting thing sort of grew out of this initiative where we were kind of we were charged with actually partners of ours in athletics, and the student athletes were interested in doing sort of a podcast about what it's like off the field. And of course, on the football team or the baseball team, they have all their teammates. They're constantly traveling together. They have a lot of off time. So, initially that was sort of the genesis. And then over time, we've seen basically a lot of student clubs, groups, using the space. One of the bigger podcasts that's kind of fully done in that space is the Rhody Wellness podcast, which is a college, no, a Department of Health Services podcast. And they talk about wellness on campus. They interview campus professionals so that students know who to go to for different issues and things like that. The other thing that we've sort of seen from the podcasting as well is, in kind of ideating this prototype, if you will, space in our library, we found that a lot of students needed the flexibility to be able to record, maybe if they're interviewing a professor or a coach, and our campus is fairly sizable, and to get from where we're located to where they might want to talk to somebody was becoming a bit of a challenge as far as scheduling goes. So what we started doing is basically we purchased a small tripod with a ring light with an attachment where you can put your phone or an iPad in, and a set of portable lapel mics, up to 3 or 4, and basically that plugs into your phone, your laptop, whatever, and it allows students, they can rent it out whenever they need it, just sign a form, and we'll check it out to them. But they're able to basically take their podcast equipment on the go and do remote podcasts wherever they end up. So one of the more successful ones in that area, we have one, the Department of Supply Chain has started. We also have another athletics one. It's an intern, and he's interviewing all the coaches down in athletics, talking about, in America, we have this NIL situation that's name, image, likeness, which in the entrepreneurship area is kind of opened a whole can of worms for student athletes in particular. But interviewing coaches about their feelings about it and how they recruit players and what's important. So yeah, I mean, really, it's all over the map as far as the podcasting goes. But definitely a big point of growth where, a few years ago it was just kind of an idea of, hey, students are talking about it. Maybe that's something that they'd be interested in. And I'd also like to mention as well, I'm as Keith mentioned, I'm a student in media studies in a master's program. And in the Harrington School, which is our school for communications here at URI, they do have several professional audio editing suites. The thing is, those suites are only open to people in the majors. So by having sort of an entry-level space in the library, they actually will direct students who are curious about getting into it to us, and they get their start here and then are able to sort of move up and get to that more advanced equipment as their classes, if that's the path they choose to take. So just sort of kind of working in tandem to be a resource that's not necessarily offering the exact same thing, but sort of in like that entry point where, once again, even if you don't know how to edit it, we have students on our staff who can help you learn that process so that you can do it on your own. So great question.
Great answer. Yeah. Yeah, really great answer, Bryan. And just to reiterate that last point, it's a lot of equipment, tools, materials students usually can't get their hands on. And the things that they learn are still transferable skills. I don't care if you're a pharmacist, and you're learning how to podcast, you're still learning communication skills. You're still learning how to package up complex ideas and display them in a way that you like to do. So, thank you for the question. And I want to thank everybody also for your time, your attention, your questions and curiosities. Bryan, thank you for getting up nice and early today. Big shout out to Bryan. Thank you.
Thank you. No, it was wonderful to be here. I wouldn't have gotten up early for any other group.
Yeah. And Bryan wasn't able to make this trip, but fingers crossed Bryan will be here in Braunschweig in the fall, so keep our fingers crossed, and we're hoping that he'll be here to, experience all the beautiful people and space that I am. And I'm just going to end today with this. We got to listen to our students, what they need, ask them what their curiosity is, and do everything we can to support those ideas relentlessly. And that's what's going to keep them hungry and curious. And it's going to feed us. Because when they have that spark, that light bulb goes off, it teaches us something about the world as well. So it's selfish too, because it feels good. So stay hungry, stay curious. And again, thank you, Bryan, and thank you all. And I'm available, and Bryan's available if you ever have other interests that you want to run past us. So thank you again, and good day.